from Custer.
Oh, great. Great. Just finish getting her scheduled real fast.
Okay, go ahead. And we're inviting the roadies in today.
The roadies?
The roadies are visiting. It's Teleport Tuesday.
Okay.
So on Teleport Tuesday we do something, you know, share what goes on in our lives with the roadies. And so since today we're having a doctor's appointment, I figured say hi roadies.
So who are roadies?
Roadies are a friend of mine, Jen and Lisa, have a YouTube channel, and they call it Patience and Faith, and they say life is like a road trip. You know, sometimes you're just going on down the road like everything's fine. Every now and then you got to get on these road stops, you know, that kind of thing. And they're also trying to lose weight and get through life just like the rest of us, you know,
right,
type of thing. And they have these T-shirts that says "Today I can do anything," which they're always, you know, reminding people today I can do anything. And I got them some T-shirts because when they say that, they say it, believe it, achieve it. So I got them a T-shirt that says "Say it, believe it, achieve it," and on the back they call their viewers roadies. And so on the back it says, we love our roadies. Okay, and so when we every Tuesday they have this thing where different people will share what's going on with their lives with their roadies. So
okay.
all roadies.
Very cool. That is true, and there are hello roadies. Right, that's what we can say. I think there are elements obviously that you're going to always have deviations in the road, right? So nothing's ever straight, nothing's ever, you know, there's curves in the road, there's detours, all that kind of thing. But the point being is you should always get to the destination, right? That's the end goal, right? Is getting to the destination, and it's a journey. That's why I said it's a journey, right? It's because you just don't know what may come up at any point in time in your life, and it's how you handle that situation is going to better suit you down the road for achieving a specific health wellness goal or whatever it might be.
Right.
Okay. So, but tell me, how did you do?
I think I did on the most part. I did pretty good. I did tell you about we had one cheat dish that I made, and everybody, you know, my sister was like, "Oh, nobody likes that," and most of it was gone.
Okay.
Got little pieces, so it settled the craving. And but on the most part, there was, you know, good foods to eat available at the family thing. And on the road, I packed my goodies and stuff like that. And my son thought I was crazy because I had this great big cooler full of my food and ice water and all that kind of stuff. So that when they go into the grocery store, which you'll probably see in one of my videos, they go into the grocery store and they got hot dogs and Monsters and chips and all that kind of stuff in their arms, and I'm standing there with my shake. I was having fun with them.
Good job. So tell me, like, if you were to give yourself a grade, right, for the 3 weeks that I haven't seen you, right, how would you rate your overall adherence to the program that you wanted to set out?
A B.
So like an 80%?
80%. I know there was.
And why do you
two
give
meals?
it? Why do you give it an 80%?
Because I know there was 2 meals that was nowhere near the diet.
Okay.
You know, the rest of it was, you know, he could tell you I had my little snacks with me all day long, and I worked on those, you know, and when we did go get something to eat, you know, like we went to a restaurant or something like that, I tried to eat as close to, you know, what was allowed, type of thing. And so, but I had 2 meals where it was like.
What were they?
One was a cheeseburger and fries.
Okay.
And
was it homemade or was it at a restaurant?
Well, it was in a restaurant, but it was one of those backwoods homemade type of things, you know. But
my phone?
I guess so. No, I guess that's my phone.
Okay.
I don't know who's calling, but anyway, so my what's so important? Don't recognize the number. But anyway, Yeah, when we had the it was really funny because when I had the burger and fries, I couldn't eat it all. You know, and it was, you know, your average size stuff. I shared a portion of it with her, and I don't know, maybe about half of it. You know, so it wasn't like I ate the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah, and so that was one, and then the other one, they had cookies and cakes and stuff like that, so I had a couple pieces of that.
Okay.
So that was the bit, you know, but they did it later, they had various, I bought the industrial ticket, which is, you know, very expensive ticket. And so they had food out as you're going to your different classes and for the gatherings and stuff like that. And so, you know, like one morning they had fruit and stuff. I was like, great, so I grabbed a bunch of fruit and put it in my bag and carried it with me. Then around lunchtime they had cakes, cookies, chips, nothing healthy. There was just nothing healthy, and I was hungry, so I grabbed a couple cookies, you know.
Okay.
And then later on they had one tray was it was a diet nightmare, but I didn't go near it. It had tacos, and you could watch them boiling in oil, the shells and stuff, and the hot dogs were rolled in bacon and cooked, and I'm like so I went over here where they had the vegetables and the cheese and crackers and that kind of thing, and I fixed me a small plate of that, which was fine because I was more than full anyway. I had, you know, just had a shake before I went up there, so I didn't know they were going to feed us that night, so I was cool with it. So.
Okay.
But like I said, on the most part, I think I did pretty good. I did end up with some sort of allergy thing going. I don't know if you know, it was hard to record everything that was going on. But when we were in South Dakota, and we were just leaving there to California, every single day I woke up and there was a new sore on me, and it looked like a bug bite, but we couldn't figure out where it was coming from. But each morning it was there, and it just drove me crazy. It was like painful type of thing, and I tried everything trying to ease the pain. And by the time we got to California, I had swelled up so much I couldn't even get my wedding ring on. And when we got to California, I found this little clinic, and I went in there, and she gave me some stuff that at least alleviated the pain, but it didn't really solve the problem. And came back to Colorado, and things started going down, but then Monday morning I was all swollen up again and pain like you wouldn't believe. I wanted to scratch my face off. I was obviously having an allergic reaction to something. So I went to the doctors, and of course they gave me those pills that make you pass out, and I take them, and I'm a walking zombie for a few days. But eventually the pain did stop, and I finally got, you know, some ointment to put on, and the sores are, on the most part, gone. So I feel a whole lot better. Finally got my ring back on, and so I haven't taken those pills since Friday.
Okay.
And so.
They have any idea what maybe caused it, or?
Well, the doctor and I think it might be like a bug.
Okay.
You know, the first question is, you know, do you have any bed bugs? Well, if this is happening during the day, not at night. Never mind the fact that I'm in a different hotel every night.
Right.
You know, my sister thought, well, maybe it's something that's in the car, you know, like the car has some sort of bug or something like that. And the doctor says, well, usually those kind of bugs like the private areas. Well, all my sores are from here to here. There's one bite there. And after we got to Colorado, I ended up with one on my toe. And we don't know where they're coming from, but they were massive, weren't they, hon? They were massively swollen, and it hurt like crazy.
I bet.
Yeah, and so now at least it's just scratches from my cat. We had an argument last night.
So question, was there, when you chose to have like the burger and fries and the cookies and so forth, any guilt?
Not really, because, you know, we had been on the road all day long, and the only food I had was my allowed food.
Okay.
You know, and granted, I could have had a salad, but I just didn't feel like one.
Okay, so you made that choice and you were okay with that. I think
Yeah.
that's an important element of, again, that you realize that you can't be guilty, you can't have guilt for the decisions that you make. It's you have to be accepting of the decisions that you make.
Right.
Right? Because otherwise, there's no choice of ever making a good, healthy decision because you're always going to feel guilty about making a bad decision.
Right.
Right? So that's part social pressure.
Mhm.
It goes back to that all or none.
Right.
There is no all or none.
Right.
So, well, let's get your weight. Let's see how you did.
Ugh.
$251.2. Nice job. Nice job.
This morning it was 250.6 at home. 251.2.
That's great.
I know. While I was on that medication,
Probably has some constipation.
no, not so much as that. Is I was just not coherent. And I was like, I'm hungry.
Sure.
You know, and then later I'm going to go record it. What was it that I ate? You know, once I finally got off the medication, then it was a struggle trying to get my brain back into sync, but I think I'm pretty much there now. My son went into a fit, though.
Why?
Yesterday I had this craving, it was a couple days ago, 2 or 3 days ago. I had this craving for chocolate. Well, granted, I got the food bars and there's chocolate on them. But I wanted, you ever have that one favorite treat that you just love? And mine are these little chocolate sticks that have raspberry or orange filling inside of them.
Yeah, I know what
Okay?
you're talking. I've seen those.
And 5 of them is a serving. So one stick is like, I'll give it 30 calories, maybe, you know. And I've been craving those things for weeks, and it's been driving me crazy.
Okay.
And I finally just like, and I've learned from all of this is I can have what I want if I control the situation.
Right.
And so it was like, I don't have to have all 5, I can have 1. And so I went to the store, and I was talking to my son about it, and he goes, I go on record that I do not approve of this. You, for the first time in your life, weigh less than I do, and I'm not going to have you gain it all back. You know, so he gave me the scolding of the lifetime. But I went to the store, and I got it, and I shared one with him, and he didn't like it. But I took one, and I ate it, and I put the rest in the freezer, and that's where they've been since.
Okay.
And I told him, I said, this is what I've learned, you know, even when I'm cooking, well, you know that, while I'm cooking my meals, and it's like I got this craving for chili. How can I change my recipe to still have the flavor I want and the consistency I want and satisfy that craving, you know? And I don't have to have 4 big bowls. I can have my little bowl, you know, like I told you about my little bowl. I can have that. Or like the other night I made macaroni and cheese for everybody, so I had about half of that bowl was macaroni and cheese, and the rest of it was onions and mushrooms and whatever.
Sure.
You know, so.
Well, I think what's important is you're at 62 pounds.
Yeah.
Right? So you're at 20%, right at 20% weight loss when you initially started. 20% is a big number.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean that's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
that you've lost. Right? And granted you're still progressing forward,
Right.
but you have to look at also you've lost 62 pounds. Right? You're over that hump.
Mm-hmm.
When I looked and see you were 257 last time I saw you.
Okay.
Right? But a month ago you were 262.
Mm-hmm.
A month ago today you were 262.
Yeah, the 260 gave me a lot of trouble.
Right. So you're over the hump, right? Well, I always tell patients you break that 50-pound mark.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That 50-pound mark's hard. It's hard to get to, but then it's also hard to break through and get to the next.
Mm-hmm.
Right? For a lot of patients, 50 pounds for some reason is, I don't know if it's psychological. I mean, I understand part physiological, but there's a lot psychologically. I think the goal of being at 50,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's a big accomplishment, right? Well, now you're at 62,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're only 12 pounds away, 13 pounds away from being 75,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's not much, given you just lost 10 pounds in a month.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that's what I want you to focus on, right? Is don't focus on I've lost 62. I want you to focus on I'm 13 away from 75, right? That's what I want you to do. We've celebrated what you've been able to accomplish, but now, like I've been, routinely indicated, let's focus on the next 12. Let's focus on the next 12, right? Let's get to 75. 75 pounds is a big number, right?
My mental goal is closer to this. It's 14 pounds away.
Yeah.
236 is my next goal, and so I've been pushing pretty hard to get that.
Yeah. So the 230s. I mean, I think that's what you have to. I mean, look at that from that perspective. That's a really good accomplishment. Really good accomplishment. And you've done it. You've done it. Obviously, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, it's harder and so forth. But you've done it through being diligent. You've done it through exploring into yourself. Understanding those things. So my question to you: when you were in South Dakota, losing as much weight as you have, I mean, it's noticeable. I mean, you look at the photos; they're noticeable, right? Any comments made?
My family thought I was crazy to get up early Sunday morning to do a 5K before breakfast. They thought I lost my mind.
That's not something they would do.
No, none of them.
So it's foreign.
It was just the two of us that went.
Right, so it's foreign to them.
Yeah, it was very foreign. And then when we got there, I took my walker because I knew I couldn't.
They don't understand they don't see they don't see the pleasure of doing that.
Yeah, and it was more, on the most part, it was a pleasant walk. It was just I couldn't walk the full way. I walked the full way stepwise and mileage-wise, but the problem was when we got to the path, come to find out it was these wood slats and gravel, and I had my walker, and I couldn't get my walker to go over it. So I just walked back and forth on my portion from the starting line to where the path broke off, and back and forth until he came out, and then we finished up together.
Okay.
So that's how I did my 5K. And then after we got done that, we walked into town, had breakfast, and then walked all over town, and then walked all the way back. So I don't know, I did about 6 miles that day. So the whole day was nothing but walking.
So they were more I don't say disbelief, but just kind of didn't understand why you would want to get up and go do that.
Right. And to be walking that much, supposedly we were the more handicapped of the whole bunch, and we walked more than anybody in the group.
What about any other comments made?
I got a couple of, how did you lose the weight? What did you do? You look healthier, type of thing. I even had some people that I hadn't seen in a year saw me, and they were like, "You look different. What's different?" It's like, granted, I didn't lose a whole bunch, but it was like, I guess in the face area, I just looked different. And so those kind of comments, there was one comment made about me having to get new pants because mine kept falling off of me. So I kept having to pull my pants up. I kept tripping over them and stuff like that. I did get me a new outfit, a top with a skirt, but the skirt turns out to be a little bit too big, so I'm going to have to take in the waist. I can work with that. I'm a seamstress, I can do that.
What about the physician that you saw when you got back?
That's a story in itself. He said you're in the process of losing weight. How did you do that? Because our last conversation was me going to get surgery, and I was refusing surgery. And he goes, "So how are you managing to do this?" And I told him about you, and he says, "So is he giving you drugs? Is he giving you this? Is he giving you that?" I'm like, "No, the shakes are full of vitamins and stuff like that. The food bar is a protein bar with nuts and stuff, and there's no medicine in that. The so-called medicine he's giving me is all natural. One's to help with the veins, trying to make the veins stronger. One's to just help the body do what it's supposed to." I says, "Everything else I'm buying over the counter. Like the green tea pills and the fiber stuff, my food. Everything else is, you know, I can buy at a grocery store, anywhere in the grocery store. It's not like it's not like a magical thing. But, we did find out that there was a problem with my medication, which we had to try like 3 times before we finally got that straightened out. And that was the medication that I was getting from him. And, we did find a couple of, you know, be careful on these certain kind of foods type of thing. And the 260s, admittedly, it was just, you know, for years I've been trying to punch through that, couldn't punch through it. And when it finally broke, it's like the floodgates have opened. You know, it's like almost every day since, especially this last week, after the swelling from all this, once that started going away, it was almost a pound a day.
Right.
You know, and it was like, wow, I'm not even trying here, you know, and I'm not hungry, but I've been trying to, you know, keep up with what I'm supposed to eat. And, so he was, you know, his little fingers was doing this on his computer, and he says, well, we need to give you something for your inflammation. First he was going to give me something for this, LASIK or something like that, for the swelling.
Okay.
And then he says, you know, instead of that, I'm going to give you this stuff for your allergies. It'll do the same thing, and it's the same pills I've been taking. And he says that will not cause you to gain weight, because there's one pill that'll cause you to gain weight, and the other pill will cause you to not gain weight. And so we'll give you this one. And he says, we don't want to mess up, you know, your doctor's good work here. So he was like that. So he was really excited on seeing me losing weight, and he says, you know, just
was he giving you positive reinforcement? Oh, great.
Yeah,
good.
and he was encouraged at the thought that I was actually losing the weight by natural means versus, you know, let's go get surgery, let's get these drugs, let's do this, let's do that. And I told him, I says, it's like, I don't get that hungry. I don't, you know, I've never been a big eater where I'm eating, you know, 4,000 or 5,000 calories a day. I just doesn't happen. I was usually maxing out about I was usually maxing out about 15 to 18 a day. You know, it just turned out that the kinds of foods I was eating was causing the problem. So once we changed the kinds of foods, then it was okay. And so
did he want to see you back anytime soon? Like, do you want to mention about running some blood work or anything like that? Okay, good.
No, he says if you have any more problems, just let me know. Other than the swelling, he says if the swelling doesn't go down, let him know. And so I did pretty good with the swelling after I took those pills. I took them up until
How was your
Thursday.
blood pressure at the office?
That was 136 when I was in there.
Okay.
But it's gone down since.
Okay.
But I think most of it is just because of the swelling.
Yeah.
The swelling, and I was just.
Yeah.
I was bouncing off the walls. My face was hurting, and I wanted to just do one of these things, and I said, there's something wrong. I think I'm having an allergic reaction. I haven't had one this bad in a long time.
Right.
And he's like, you are definitely having an allergic reaction. We just don't know to what.
How is your hernia?
It's big.
Okay.
I haven't been able to get a hold of my doctor or that doctor,
Have
because
you
she's
wearing
on
a belt
vacation.
still?
Sometimes. But I got in trouble the other day. We were working on the fence and putting posts up so we can put a temporary fence around our project so that people won't fall in it, because there's going to be holes and stuff. And we dug this hole, and we had, between the 3 of us, so we had to get this big cylinder of cement out, and so we wrapped a rope around it, and all 3 of us were pulling. And when I was doing that, it kind of hurt, and then I got yelled at because I didn't have my belt on.
Right.
So,
okay.
But other than
I
that,
was trying to take care of her.
Good.
He's been yelling at me, and it's like every time I go to pick up anything of any form of weight, I get kind of scolded.
So here's the goal I would have for you for the month. I want you to break the 250s. I want you to get out of the 250s. You're only a pound and a half away, right? You got a week and a half for the end of the month, so there's no absolute reason why you can't. You should not be able to lose that weight. So I think you did really well on the road. I was intermittently looking at your logs and all that kind of stuff, and and so forth, and you know the
When I had
cheaper-
internet, I put it on there.
I know, and I know you did. And then and I'm sorry we couldn't communicate. There was a lot of connection issues, and I was trying. You would call me, and it would go right to my voicemail. I tried calling you, and it'd go to your voicemail. I couldn't get a hold of you, so that's why I just started texting.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
All right.
because then eventually I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those that floats in the air until it
Yep.
gets to a connection.
Yep. Exactly.
So, but yeah, I tried to call you a couple of times, of course, you know, and let you know.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm trying.
Yeah, no, you did exceptionally well. You did a really good job. Keep the momentum going. That's the big thing. You're doing a great job. And you should be proud of what you've been able to accomplish thus far.
I've been pretty, you know, the fact that I'm just down to the 260s. You
I know,
know,
you're
how
almost
much
in
of
the
a-
50s now.
Yeah,
so.
I'm like, that was like the burden. It was like, I was.
The 50-pound mark is a tough mark for a lot of patients.
Yeah.
It's just trying to get beyond that 50 pounds. It seems like between 45 and 55 is just that. It's for some patients it can just be that the dead zone. It just.
For some reason it just.
I think part of it's psychological, part of it's physiological. I mean, there's a lot of confounding factors that go into it, but it's just trying to hammer home that, you know, that's why we remeasure metabolism and show you can lose weight, and it's great that you've been successful, but there's no reason to stop, you know, especially for what you're been able to do. I mean, when you look at where you're at now, I mean, you know, my goal is to get you got out of the 3s, you got out of the upper 2s, you're in the mid 2s, now we got to get in the low 2s.
Right.
Right. That's kind of, you know, a great opportunity to be able to do that. So.
Yeah, and it's been, you know, and even though you're like the Biggest Loser is done with, then there was the Shea Loss had a 5-week challenge.
Right.
And now now we got the roadies, you know. Of course, I've been doing stuff with the roadies all along for a while now, and I'm still, believe it or not, there's the Biggest Loser is still continuing until November.
Well, here's what I want to
right.
do. The goal for this month is to get out of the 50s. And what I want you to focus on by next week, right, is I want you to focus on a goal by Christmas. What is your goal by Christmas? What do you want to accomplish by Christmas? That's got to be your goal, because that's going to be your 1-year mark, right? And we need to really focus on what that goal is needed.
It'd be nice to have the 100 pounds off by then. It'd be really sweet.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, because 236 is very close to my 100-pound mark. Because I was 320 was when I maxed out at home. So, and I was a little bit less than that by the time I saw you.
Yeah, you were 313 here.
Yeah.
So.
I was, you know, I was trying.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
all right. So, what does your schedule look like next week?
Tuesday and Wednesday we're open, right?
All right. I'm assuming you're all out.
Yes.
All right. We don't have any chocolate. We'll be getting some more in, but I've got all the other 3 flavors. And I have apple cinnamon, and I have no, take that back. I have a chocolate and a chocolate raspberry, and apple cinnamon bars.
Apple cinnamon bars, and how about a strawberry and peach?
Okay. Yep. Here's those for you.
Oh, and I gotta pay you, huh?
All right, so strawberry, peach, and apple cinnamon. Okay.